Hey everybody, I'm Laura DiCarlo of Career Directors International, and we're talking all things ultimate success without the stress for resume writers and career coaches. I am super excited to be here with you. Let me get my fun caption up here for Restream. We are currently streaming on CDI's Facebook group, our YouTube channel, and on LinkedIn, CDI's LinkedIn. If you are currently streaming on Facebook in the group, you will want to go to this URL, chat.restream.io/FB, to give Restream permission for me to see your name. That way, when you're commenting in the chat, I'm going to know who I'm talking to. Otherwise, it just says Facebook guest. But the system is screwy. Hopefully, you do it. If not, just put your name with your comments. I'm opening up the chat now so I can see who is communicating with me. All right, so this is our regular Wednesday show where I'll be empowering resume writers and career coaches to up your game with advanced technical skills, business shortcuts, and strategies to succeed with ease. We've been focusing on learning what's working and what's not in the career industry business today, and we're continuing on into strategies you can use in 2024 and beyond for your continued or new success. And hey, if you don't know me yet, my goal is to become your not-so-secret superpower. At Career Directors International, we provide all the tools, scripts, done-for-you resources, training, certification, and support you need to love and excel at what you do so you can make a difference while earning an exceptional living. And looks like, hey, Rebecca, welcome. Hello from Career Ladders. I'm going to guess that's Anita. Welcome. Glad you guys are joining me. So today's topic, I'll be all fancy and put that on my screen while I'm talking for the next few minutes. So today we're talking getting resume writing and career coaching prospects to yes with smart service packaging. But before I get into that, I want to challenge you, ask you to do 3 things. Some of you, you're already on it with me because you've been here before with my show. Thank you. But please introduce yourself, say hello in the chat. You can give me a hashtag newbie if this is your first time ever interacting with me and CDI. If you're one of my career superheroes, hashtag soups, or again, just share your name so I know who I'm talking to. Secondly, if you have questions, be sure to put them in the chat. I'm going to be asking you questions as we go and checking for questions so that I can stay on it as best as possible in getting everything answered. Hey, Patricia. I cannot, it says Facebook user. There's bugs in the technical machine, right? So just stick your name in there each time. I'll know who you are. What a pain. Okay, third, if you like what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, follow, depending on what channel you're on, so that you never miss out on a show, because I'm streaming every Wednesday at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. And again, so today, topic on the bottom there, getting resume writing and career coaching prospects to yes with smart service packaging. Hey, thanks, Patricia. I love that you always interact and share links and whatnot, so it's great to have you here again. All right, let me take that off of the screen so I'm not distracted. So listen, last week we discussed how to stop trading dollars or hours for dollars as a service entrepreneur. That Restream is available on the different channels. It's also available on the CDI website, probably the easiest way to get to it. Members on your dashboard. If you're not a member, go to the website and click on free stuff, and we do have replays of the live stream shows there. So that's a great one to go back to. The 1 week, I don't know if you can see, yes, you can see her. The 1 week I don't give a disclaimer about my screaming insane cat. She's right up here with us on the screen. Thanks, Kat. We are her 5th home, and we're not letting her go. So we have to put up with her mania. And believe me, she's a lot more quiet in the room than if I tried to lock her out. I've given up. I'm evidently not this. Well, you can't be strict with her. So anyway, so back to what I was saying. So it's really important not to have a practice based solely on you and your hours. So last week I shared strategies and ideas around different products and programs you can create or better yet, how to leverage the Done For You resources and CDI membership so that you can immediately be up and running with products to sell alone or boost your package value. So today we're taking this concept of bundling a step further by focusing on the packages themselves, why you need them, and the strategy that will work best. So if you're with me, give me a hashtag yes or something similar in the chat. Patricia said, oh, hi, Kitty. I was like, who's Kitty? God, that's so sad, right? Yeah, that's Tallulah Ka, my little beast. But yeah, give me a hashtag yes if you are ready to go. And I'm going to start off by talking about why you need to have packages. So to me, one of the biggest benefits of having not just, here's my price for what you asked for. Well, we don't want that alone either, but sometimes I see people who have their price for the individual services, and then they have one package that they offer. And what happens here is that you're very much setting up a scenario of a client having a yes or no answer to engaging with your services. So having that, this is it, this is your one option, really disserves what you're trying to accomplish, which is helping your clients to be successful. If they don't hire you, we don't know where they're going to go. It might not be as value added of a company and provider as you may be. So we want to know we've done everything to help them make the right decision for themselves. So one package, I know it makes sense. Well, I don't want to overwhelm them with choices, but believe me, it is really now you're creating a yes or no scenario versus if you lay out options but provide a roadmap to the one that is best for them. Now they have choices, and it's so much easier to pick a yes or yes versus a yes or no. And what does no mean? No means leaving, and we don't want them to leave. So this is why I am a fan of having, it's a 3-package system that I will be describing today. And through 30 years of providing these services and training and consulting with individuals who are resume writers, career coaches, and offer similar services, we have found that this works great. And believe it or not, it actually even works great in different models, because sometimes my clients have been physical therapists and beauty salons and massage therapists, and packages work. They really do. But you're my main audience, so I'm focusing on career services solely for today's topic. So also, another reason why we want to have packages is that selling what someone asks for when it comes to career services and resume writing, there's risks there, okay? Because in a lot of cases, I call it a gateway drug, the resume, the reason why many job seekers will reach out to a company. So it's a gateway drug. That's just my weird humor. But if you go, what I've heard so many career professionals do, and what I was guilty of in my first 6 months or so in my business, is, well, they know what they need. They would ask for the other things, or I have it on my website. So of course they're going to have looked and decided. Well, they're looking at it as, well, I'm not the expert. I don't know what I need, or they just don't know any better. So if somebody comes to you and they say, oh, I need an hour of, I need some mock interview preparation, or I just need a resume, which, like I said, is the common first step that most people know they need. And in some cases might even be ashamed to ask for, because they've had it just like burned into their brain that, oh, you're the only one that should write your resume, and no one knows you better than you for resumes and interviewing, and you can't prepare for an interview. All these fallacies we know aren't true. But anyway, getting back to my point here is that if somebody comes in and says, oh, I just need a resume, and you don't take the time to educate them about the resume only being a cog in a wheel, or as if you've heard me tell this story before, I like to use the analogy as I'm transitioning somebody from talking about the resume they came for to the complete solution that they need. I will say I would be remiss in only talking to you about the resume. I want you to think about the resume as somebody delivers a brand new, beautiful, shiny Mercedes into your driveway, and they hand you the keys, and you're super excited to get in, turn it on, hear it purr, get ready to drive it. And as they're walking away, they say, oh, but by the way, you still need an engine. Beautiful car. That's what your resume is. It's a beautiful package of who you are, but how are you going to drive it to where the decision makers are? And how are you going to talk to the decision makers? And how are you going to find the decision makers? All of these things are super important. And if you don't spend the time, even if they don't buy the package, just educating them on complete solutions, and making the offer sets it up so that you're not worrying about the risks of they didn't have magic bullet thinking where they thought, well, surely June would have sold me a complete package if I needed one, but June only sold me the resume, so that must be all I need. And when the resume doesn't magically work, when I'm applying for the wrong jobs just online, I'm going to blame the resume and thus June, and June's going to get my dissatisfaction, possibly a rework on it or some backpedaling to explain why it's really the best and what they're doing wrong. There could be chargebacks, bad reviews, even refunds, things that are all avoidable when you're educating about complete solutions. And don't worry if you don't have a complete solution right now. I'm going to talk about workarounds for that in just a couple of minutes. But these are reasons why I feel packages are critical. And of course, packages are value added because for you, because not only do you not want refunds, chargebacks, dissatisfied clients, bad reviews, but you also want clients out there happy, singing your praises, being successful quickly, because isn't that why you do what you do and why you've invested so much in who you are and what you have to offer? Is knowing you can send them out there and they're going to expedite a job search that used to be painful and stressful, right? And also the added benefit is that more money per client means you have less marketing and chasing to do. And when they're happy and successful, they're going to tell more people. Often they need your guidance to know they should tell more people, but not always. Sometimes we just get raving fans out of the gate. So those are my reasons why, and 3 packages is my magic number. I think if you go over 3, you really start to overwhelm people. And I'm going to tell you why 3 is my magic number in a moment here, besides just not overwhelming and not being that yes or no answer. So why don't you let me know in the chat who is offering packages now? And if not, if you're maybe starting to feel inspired to consider them now. And while you're doing that, I'm going to take a sip and go on to the next thing. Okay, so, and thanks for that hashtag yes, Trish. I appreciate that. It's always great when I know I have people who are actively there and then it's like, am I all alone? It's the weirdest feeling doing these. So the more interaction you guys give me, the better. I like it. Okay, so next piece is outlining the package system that I personally refer to it as Goldilocks and the 3 bears, or that concept of one was just right. So I believe everybody knows Goldilocks and the 3 bears, but just in case, that vision is Goldilocks, basically breaks into the home of the 3 bears, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear. Well, they are out, foraging in the forest, and she's, in some stories she's eating their porridge, and in some she's lying on their beds. It's all really creepy, but I always use the bed analogy, and that first she lays on Baby Bear's bed, and Baby Bear's bed is too soft, and then she lays on Daddy Bear's bed, and it's too hard, so she gets on Mama Bear's bed, and it's just right. And that cordially enough is how I view a successful package system. 3 packages. One is too soft, one is too hard, meaning so soft means it's got the bare minimum they need, but not a full success package. And don't worry, I'm going to talk about what, I promise. I'm just trying to keep this segmented for sanity purposes. So you got your too soft, which is, the bare minimum they need. And then you've got the too hard, which is, I call that the pie in the sky package of, you're rarely even going to sell that package. It's like really meant to be a foil for making the middle package look just right. So it typically has things that, I think in all the years I had my 3-package system myself and how I train other people to do it, I maybe sold that package twice. I was more likely to make a custom package for someone out of the middle with some add-ons. So your middle package is just right. And that is everything you feel your average client needs to be successful. And let me stress here that it's very common, I find, for caring entrepreneurs to get in their own way and start overthinking who it's just right for. I've heard all sorts of things like, well, he's an executive, so he, has a strong network and will know what to do, so I'm not going to offer that. And, well, he does sales for a living, so he doesn't need that interview stuff. I'm not going to offer that. My philosophy, and it has served all the job seekers, and I have phenomenal success stories with my clients. I don't work with job seekers anymore except for some family, and even they have phenomenal success. I helped a family member in October, and I think they applied for, I don't even know. All I know is they applied for their dream job. They got an interview for it. We negotiated their salary to a 24.89% increase and every other Friday off. So dream company, major salary increase. And they're actually going to 4-day work weeks in like 2 more weeks, beginning of February. So not saying that to brag, just saying that, I know that I've helped people who I just didn't overthink it, because honestly, the only person who doesn't need a complete solution is that person who comes to you and says, I already have an interview set up and the recruiter said I needed to have a better resume to present at the interview. That's the person where you say, okay, John, we're going to, if it's within your time frame of being able to work with them for a rush fee or a regular rate, okay, John, I'm glad to help you with that, but please know this is not a complete solution. If this does not work out, please come back to me, because I want to make sure you have all the tools you need to be successful. Because you don't want John out there then trying to network and find jobs that aren't posted and navigate those paths without your assistance. Now, why did I not try to sell him interview coaching at that point? Because usually at the point somebody has an interview already set up, I think you're just kind of like confusing the matter. If it's like in that next week period, I might give them some stuff to read over, like my interview guide. But a lot of times I feel like we're better off planning for the future sessions if this doesn't work out than getting them all confused and worked up at the last minute. But so yes, everyone needs a complete solution, and I'm going to talk to that here in a second. So Trish says, I'm very interested in the packages. Awesome. It's a really good choice to make because, like I said, win-win on so many different levels. So let's talk about what goes into each package. So I'm right now thinking from a integrated, somebody comes to you for that most common denominator of the resume first. If I've got somebody on here who's just coaching, you would basically be looking at your lowest denominator for your small package of what are the minimum things you would send somebody out the door with. But if we're thinking all things, then usually somebody who came for a resume initially, that too soft package number 1 is documents. And I'll argue about what should be in there till the end of time, because my philosophy is that should have a resume, a cover letter, a reference page, or at least the template, the done for you stuff from the CDI member resources, and it should have a follow-up letter or a follow-up letter template. Now, why do I think those things should be in there? And sometimes we put the LinkedIn profile work in there as well, which yours might vary. I see people doing everything from like the header art, the headline, and the about section to full profile. Some just have a tip sheet. It varies for me depending on what people have to offer, whether I put that in the base package or the middle package. A lot of times I want it in the middle because I want them to go for the middle package. And if you put it in the bottom package, now your softest, smaller package costs more, and it's kind of defeating the purpose of what we're trying to do. And they're going to tend to go for that because they're like, well, I got my resume, I got my LinkedIn. But I am big on, you notice I said the reference page and the follow-up letter, either in a template or I always sold mine, just to give you some food for thought. Yes, does it create a little bit more work? Sure, it does. Did it serve a purpose? Absolutely. I included their first follow-up letter customized so that they would have to come back to me. And what this allowed me to do, so now you're thinking, well, you had to have more touch points with your client. Yes, I did, but it could be done in like a 30-minute session. But what I also got to do is help clients very quickly recalibrate, sell them into other services that they might be needing based on the path that their job search was taking, and make sure that they weren't making mistakes. Because, there's a little bit of conversation going on while you're talking about that interview. And easy project. But you can also do a template of sample follow-up letters, one for the interview goes poorly and they're trying to rescue the day, or, because they didn't communicate well. One just reiterating skills. Obviously, they have to customize them, but you can have one for the recruiter, one for the actual interviewer, and one for the admin staff that set it up. Different versions for, if they had multiple interviewers, and those are subtle tweaks, but you can have like a packet of 5 letters and suddenly, even though there's only minor tweaks to them, it's a nice package. But either way, whether you have one generic or one custom or a packet, I like to put the follow-up and the reference in there because, and some people are like, I don't bother with those. Oh my gosh, your clients need them, and it's easy money because it took like no time to do them, unlike the resume. Now you're creating additional revenue streams that don't take hours to do. They make you a profit, and your client needs them because, I don't know, on their own, I've never met a job seeker who didn't work with a professional that they should go to the interview with references already prepped and their sheet, and maybe they have letters of recommendation with them, but usually they're not very prepared. So I know I just talked a lot about the small package, but I see so many people who don't want to offer letters or reference pages at all, and you're leaving money on the table. Yes, Janine says, yes, they need them. They do need them. And it's a win-win. You prepare them, they're ready, they're confident, you make more money without having to put in a whole nother resume's worth of project time with another client. Okay, on the opposite side of the spectrum is that too hard or large package. And like I said, that's the pie in the sky. And how do I differentiate that from what's going to be in the middle package? Well, it's the things that you offer or that you may come to offer after today that, your average client on a daily basis doesn't need. So usually the things I would have in that package would be, well, you could have the LinkedIn header art if that's not something you always do. You could have, I have a whole list and it's all fighting with each other in my head. You could have recruiter distribution, and before you ask in the chat, custom data banks is the one I use. It's all online. You can download the list. You can send directly to recruiters. It's very reasonably priced, good reputation. And obviously you would double or triple the price to your client to do that service. You would be the only one going to the page for it. You can have executive bio or just bio in that. So it's those things that aren't aren't needed by every client. Like I said, it's more often going to be that you customize your middle package to add those things. So what's in the middle package? I know that is like, what is you going to tell me what is in that middle package? I am in a moment, the Just Right package. And again, don't worry if you only do documents or only do coaching. Got tips and strategies. But let's pause for a second and let me know in the chat. Were you already using CDI's 3 packaging strategy, my packaging strategy? And if not, are you inspired to go adopt it or consider something like it? Let me know. All right, let me take a breath here because I realize I'm talking really fast. I got super excited. Woo, okay. Goodness gracious. All right, so the middle package. So Deb Schuster, I use 3 packages, but I love these ideas. Great. And Trish says, absolutely. All right, good stuff. So the middle package is usually that just right complete solution. And I know if you're just a document developer, you're like, how do I have that if I don't offer like interview prep and salary negotiation and job search strategy and whatnot? I completely understand that. It's why I kind of alluded to last week's live show where I talked about products and group offerings and third-party resources in depth on ways you could bolster your key package offerings without having to necessarily become an expert at these things. On average, just to give you an idea of what, and then I'm going to tell you about how a client pulled it off without experience really in any area, expertise that is. I'm usually including everything from the soft package, so your resume, cover letter, reference pages, and follow-up letter. And then I'm including resources for preparing them, how to find the jobs, how to network, how to prepare for interviews, how to interview, how to negotiate. So if you're a skilled coach and you do those things, then the first thought is to put some one-on-one hours in there. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially as you're getting going and building your client base and you have the hours to do so. But the evolution, and I talked about this again last week, is getting the middle package to be more of a group boot camp. Or you can do an evergreen, which means it's all pre-recorded and you just give them access to it. And I'm not going to go into the how because I talked about that all last week. But the idea being that you can make the middle package more affordable by not having the one-on-one hours, and you can cut out the hours of you say you think each client needs about 3 hours of just knowledge dropped on them. If you had to say those same 3 hours to every client, I mean, I enjoy talking for sure, as we all know, but that's a lot of time you are spending to say the same thing, and you're going to hit a ceiling. There's only so many hours that you can do that, right? So it's so much better if you're able to offer a affordable group session, which again, not going to go into depth on that and how you can make it work with people who need confidentiality or the evergreen and whatnot. But so it's usually one-on-one hours is the first thing I see. A group or an evergreen recording or something is the second thing I see in that middle package. And then anytime you have something like that, there's always an offer at the end to escalate those people who purchased that package with that offering, to give them the chance to work one-on-one with you at a short time incentivized rate, where you just give them a slight discount because, okay, now I've dropped all the knowledge on you, but now we want to laser focus in on your unique answering of the questions and handling of the gap in your career, or your specific targets and whatnot. And a certain portion will then take that next step in your funnel, which is valuable. But so what happens if you're kind of new to this industry or you've been doing resumes for a long time and you don't offer any of the other stuff. So example I like to use here is clients who fall into this framework. And if you're a member of CDI, it's very, very easy to navigate around this problem. And I do have solutions for non-members. Don't worry. I mean, whether you're going to like them all or not, I don't know, but I'm going to share them. But for members, there's a whole library of, at this point, I think we have 8 done for you job seeker tip sheets in the member section. And if you go to your member dashboard, you'll see the done for you section right there on the member resources page. First one is where all 8 are, and there's one on targeting resumes, there's one on job search networking, I think there's one on finding jobs, there's one on salary negotiation. I have directed members and private clients to creating their entire job search interview bundle out of primarily the tip sheets that are there. And if you watch last week's live stream show, I talk about monetizing it and whatnot and putting it in there. And again, there's also, partnering or purchasing other third-party resources that you're going to offer. Like, for instance, my CEICs, Certified Employment Interview Consultants, which you can take that program as a member or a non-member. You just, as a non-member, don't save the 25% that members save on the registration fee. But it's scripted. I stress to people, I'm not, as long as you're not trying to resell it to other resume writers, career coaches, career practitioners, if your audience is job seekers, go ahead, script that right into a video, script that right into an audio. Each module becomes its own video, audio. Now you have material to put in your package. Same thing with our Hidden Job Coach and Profile Writer program. I have my entire 50-page, it's a bonus, it's not part of the course, but it's a bonus, the whole entire 50-page packet that I used when I used to do transition workshops for the US government and corporations around the US. I updated it to be part of the program, but you have these tools that you can bundle in there if you have purchased those programs. And again, if you go to the live stream from last week, there's tons of ideas on creating products. Janine, who's here with us, she did an incredible live event that's on demand for members only on, writing, basically creating your first product or creating a product and getting it on Amazon pretty much in one afternoon without having to really write or create. It's pretty cool. There's all sorts of options. You just may have to be a little bit creative, and then they shift over time if you choose to become an expert in the topic. Nobody is making you go out, and if you just enjoy documents or you just enjoy coaching, there are ways, like the coach only has resume tip sheets, and targeting uses the CDI Done For You resume targeting sheet. So really simple. Let me know if you have questions on that right now. But so that middle package, it's the perfect package that you think almost everyone needs, and you're going to point almost everyone to, occasionally customizing, like I said, typically to add more, not take away. So let's talk about a few things to make that work. So a package system like this works best when it's presented against a la carte prices, because you're trying to get somebody to purchase a complete solution. You want to show that the complete solution makes the most sense. And if you live in our world, you know where I'm going here, and that is that the package is incentivized. It does not mean, even though there is a price break, I'm going to argue, and I will argue until I'm in the grave, that we are not cheapening or discounting our services. And I'm going to explain to you why and give you wording that you can even use if you in your head think this is an issue, but it's not. But basically, when you present, and always do us a favor, please, 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 please don't follow the terrible advice to do a great consultation with someone and then tell them that you will send them the quote and information once you hang up the phone or get off Zoom or whatever. I just, and if it's working for you, more power to you. But for most people I see, this is just the most terrible idea, because you spent all this time building a bridge, educating them with your like CDI's strategy that has a 94 to 97% close rate. And Deb Schuster, if you are still here, you say, yes, that is true. Ever since you were in my live stream about ROI of CDI membership, I keep quoting you. But people who use that, it makes you be so successful. And I have no idea where I was going with that. But anyway, all right, think, Laura, where was I at on that? So you've built this bridge for them on educating them on why it's not a DIY and showing them things, whether that's, if you're just a coach, you might have had like infographics that shows exactly how the process is going to work and the success metrics that are built in. If you're a resume writer, you've shown resume samples where they're like, I've never seen anything like that. Because let's face it, pick up most resume books, not ones that you and I are in, but most resume books out there, the resumes are terrible. Like, how did these people even get contracts to do books? Or sites online, just awful stuff, dated stuff. Even people with certifications, not CDI certifications, people with certifications as resume writers who resumes are 20 years old. Job seekers don't know. Got templates with terrible resumes. So you show them samples, or you show them some other kind of info diagrams that help educate them about what they, not how to do it, but what we're going to do, what needs to happen. It's eye-opening. Then you have, again, CDI's process of the metrics-driven testimonial. So they're like looking at these results and they're like, oh, I didn't even know it was possible to have a successful job search that quickly. And so you've got them drooling. And now when you should be presenting your offer to them, and being able to handle any questions they have or concerns they have, or work to get them back on live with you if they need to go think about it or talk to a third party about it first. Now you're going to say, okay, I'll send you the quote. Please don't do that. That's just terrible. And I apologize. Well, I don't apologize, because if it works for you, great. But for the majority, like I said, it does not work, and it's just harmful. So you want to be on there live to present it, which means usually screen sharing with the things I have talked about. Doesn't mean you're on screen. I know I'm kind of segueing into consultation, so I'm going to stop there. Doesn't mean you have to be on screen, but it means you have to have a vehicle for visually showing things to people, which is as easy as saying, most of the time we're just going to be talking. I know you're doing this from your office or your car or the comfort of your own home, so we're not going to be on camera. But you will need to be able to see my screen, because it's just so much easier with visuals with the type of work we're doing together. And then bundle your consultations in different spots on your schedule, so you do all those back to back. But so at this point, you would put on the screen, I've done it in Word documents. Some of my clients have PowerPoint presentations for the entire consultation where the pricing is built in. If you have one size fits all pricing, this is super simple. I myself had multiple Word documents that were based on the pivotal price of how much I was charging for the resume based on how much work was involved, because I did very custom. So beforehand, I'd look at the resume they sent me and their target and our communications, and I'd have a pretty strong idea of which Word document I should have open so that I could share it with them when we got to this point. And occasionally I would have to say, well, actually, I would always say, all right, let me just, now that I've got all the information here, just give me a second. And this was often me just double checking my page because I already had it opened. Every once in a while, I'd be like, oh, I need to do something a little bit different here. Give me a second. And they'll wait so that I can make sure I presented the right document. And just a one page that has the a la carte pricing and the 3 packages on it. And you could have someone on Fiverr design it. You can do such cool things yourself in Canva now, all sorts of options. But basically, it's there. The a la carte is the important foil to the packages making great sense. So, a la carte, when you think about your packages and your I'm not trying not to go deep into pricing here. We just did a whole pricing session for members of our Career Industry Accelerator Club at noon today. But you still need to understand this when it comes to packaging, is that your a la carte is obviously individual prices for each of the services that you do offer, services, products, programs. And I want you to think like a retail establishment when you put those prices together. Don't want to confuse you. I'm just going to say that in general, retail is like a 300% markup. You're more likely going to think 20 to 40% markup from what you would like to ideally receive for your items. It should make you squirm. I always say squirming is ideal, but then you also need that built-in padding, just like retail has, where they can discount their offerings without losing their shirt. But again, we're spinning this not as a discount, but as an incentive, which I am going to explain. So think squirming, think 20 to 40%, depending on how much you want to lower the price on your incentivized packages, okay? All right, sip of water. And Deb did say, yes, that is true about the 94 to 97% close rate. Thank you, Deb. She's not the only one. I just know she's here and I've heard her say it. So the system does work really, really well. All right, so as I said, I've mentioned the words discount and lower price and whatnot. Here's the deal, okay? People are influenced by incentives. It's just like in the pricing session I ran earlier where I said, don't silently, quietly raise your prices in the middle of the night. And, the next people who visit are like, oh, these are her prices. No. And so in other words, don't be last minute about it. I need to put a price increase. No, you need to wake up and go, I need to put a price increase in. So let me tell my entire list and all my former clients and my social media following that, in 30 days or 15 days or whatnot, we're going to be increasing our prices. So if you've been meaning to get started, now's the best rate you're going to receive. So that is an incentive that gets lurkers off of the list who just weren't ready, or I need to do it, but I don't want to spend the money. And now it's like, well, I plan to work with Deb or Janine anyway. I might as well lock this in now before the price goes up even higher. So with this, we're looking at, sure, they're more than welcome. After you have done your pitch for your services and what they need and pointed them to the middle package as the best solution based on their needs, at the end of your consultation, they're looking at the a la carte, they're seeing the package rates and that there is like a 20% discount on them. They are more than welcome to go, you know what, I'll just take that resume. That's all I want. That's all I'm going to get. I had that happen like 2 times in my career. And I have to tell you, I got off with the client and I was stunned because the amount I was charging for the resume was like $50 less than the document package, the small package. It made no logical sense to me. I could not even say the dollar because back then my packages my middle package was like $1,200 to $1,500 in the late 90s is when I first started with this whole system. And I was just dazzled by it defied logic, but they're more than welcome to pay full price if they would like to. I would always say, I would, present the middle package I feel is exactly what you need based on what I've learned about you and your goals and needs. I can create a custom package for you from any 4 or more services, my smallest package having 4 items in it. Giving them that option, and I would apply a discount to it. But otherwise, a la carte. You just want a resume cover letter? Sure, you can pay more than the document package. But that's the idea, is that, and I'm going to give you more reasons why it's okay to have a lower price. They look at it, it just barely anybody will buy a la carte because it just makes common sense to get a package, especially after you've educated them as to why. Now, if you're of that small school of people who is like, oh, having a discount is tacky or whatever. I actually had someone argue with me one time because I was like, really? So you're telling me if you went into a department store and the suit you had wanted to buy was now on sale, you wouldn't buy it because it was tacky to save money? I mean, isn't that just smart business sense? And, you know, we're going to argue that till the end of time. And that's okay. I hope that person is successful. Because not everybody needs to do the same thing. I just know what I do and recommend works. So if you just feel this desire to have to like explain yourself the first few times or forever, you can say something to the effect of, my packages are incentivized because I absolutely want you to take advantage of the full solution that has the much greater chance of ensuring your success. You know, as we discussed today, a resume or 1 hour of mock interview prep is not a magic bullet. That's that Mercedes without the engine. You need a complete system for you to be as successful and have the types of the success rates that I've shown you my clients have who have elected complete solutions. Now, so it's in your best interest. So I've incentivized it to make it easier for you to go down the path I feel you need to go on. But also, I'm going to be crystal clear. On the off occasions where someone picks, you know, an a la carte, yeah, sometimes it's beautiful. It is a magic bullet. Good for them. I am so happy. But more often than not, we run into that Mercedes without the engine situation. And they come back 60 days later. And now there's all the stress of, you know, 60 days of unemployment and bills and feeling, is it me? What is wrong with me? And now they want a complete solution. And guess what, Joe? I have to start all over. Yes, I have your resume and I have your notes, but do you know how many clients I have served? Maybe only 10 or maybe 20 in 60 days. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. But I have to go back to the notes, the worksheets, the information, and relearn everything. It makes sense for me to create a complete solution for you for both reasons. So I've incentivized it. And I went more wordy because I wanted you to have lots of options there. I don't want you to ever over explain yourself because then it looks like you're nervous, but you can just say, yes, I incentivize the packages because that is the best path for you to take. And it's a win-win because if you come back to me 60 days from now and you realize you made a grave mistake not picking the package, I have to start over and you'll have to pay the a la carte rates because it's going to take me extra time to do it. There's the short version. So showing the a la carte prices, showing the package, they're looking at the middle package and they're like, wow, it's only a couple hundred more than what I thought I came here for. And this expert has shown me all the reasons why this is the path to my success. They're going to more often than not pick it. On our free stuff page of the CDI website, and hey, stop it. I'm sorry. She's insane. And she's never done this in my show. I can't believe she's trying to get through a door she could go around and get in. On our free stuff page, so careerdirectors.com, click on free stuff, and also on the sales resources page on the member dashboard, we do have what I call the 4-figure sales video series. And these are all videos that are under 10 minutes long. That talk about different subjects, about what to do when they have to think about it. The one that's coming to mind for me right now is there's one on package sweet spots, but what was the one before my cat started howling and being a freak? What you focus on is what you'll sell. Because when I first learned this type of system from my mentor, because I didn't actually make this up myself. And she had a $500,000 a year practice, and she did her boot camp sessions from her basement with executives only. And they would travel across the country to spend the weekend with her and go partying at night when they weren't learning. But when I first learned this from her, I came back to my office and I immediately jumped in to doing this, offering the 3-package system with the a la carte. At this point, I can't even remember what's mine and what's hers. So I just credit her with the whole thing. But I just went all in. I was so passionate because I could completely understand why this was a necessary thing. And so every client, because there are very rare ones coming to me who had an interview lined up and only needed the resume, I would just give all my energy to pointing them to the middle package, which meant educating them in my consult about the other services, why they were necessary, using what I call edufericating. But anyway, they would almost all buy the middle package, and if they didn't, the small percentage would buy the lower package. And like I said, 2 ever bought a la carte. And so it's really about what you focus on is what you will sell, where you put your energy, what you seem to believe in. And if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared about this, or I am going to be so shy or whatnot, go back and watch my live stream on busting imposter syndrome, because I am the most introverted. I don't even like to say numbers if I don't have to. And I know that's hard to believe sitting here with me yapping my mouth off on a live show to a blank screen, just my face. But I hate it. Every system I have created has been to make my life easy so I don't have to sell. I don't have to cringe. So that just being passionate about it and going all in can really shift the decision. So, all right, let me know in the chat. Have you heard any ideas today that get you excited? Or let me know if you're using CDI's consultation strategy, how it's working for you, if you're going to. I know some people watching this probably aren't members. Again, we have that free stuff page. There are outlines of the process and whatnot. We have free tools out there that we actually have a testimonial on that page from he's now a member, but at the time he was a non-member, letting us know he managed to scale to 6 figures just using the free stuff. So it's good. And our membership is currently closed, but get on that waiting list, because you just never know when we're going to be like, hey, we're open, maybe for a short period of time. That is the thing to do. All right, I don't see anything in the chat yet, so let me just recap. Have a la carte prices set 20 to 40% higher than what will appear in your packages. Use the Goldilocks strategy of having 3 packages where you're pointing to the middle just right package with an incentive. And then adopt CDI's winning consultation strategy, using education during the consultation, sharing your screen, providing proof, and making the offer live and not after the fact by email. Okay. See, she wants on my lap. She doesn't want on my lap. She's driving me crazy. All right. So it works. I'm not going to talk any more about how it works. Let me know any questions or ideas that came out of this in the chat. Maybe I lost you all. I hope not. Okay, there is no bonus prompt for members this week. I did not want to dilute the value of the focused consultations, packaging, and pricing strategies that are available in the CDI membership and the outlines and resources of them in the free stuff. I tried to think of what would be a prompt that would be good, and everything was like going to give you a different version that I didn't know would work. So let's focus on what we know works and not reinvent the wheel. And I would point you back to last week's prompt if you're a member, and then non-members, just the recording. If you're not clear on what to put in your packages, because there's tons of ideas there. So focus on mastering consultation strategy and looking at adjusting your packages. All right, Deb says, the takeaway for me, show a la carte side by side with the packages. I do list them in the proposal, but I haven't done side by side so far. Yeah, it's a good foil for comparison purposes. And Janine says, so true. All right, awesome. So next Wednesday, the 17th, I just like to shift gears all over the place, keep you on your toes. So next week, I'm calling it right now, magnetize prospects with certifications and credentials, because it can be a powerful part of your arsenal that is a kind of one and done scenario in helping prospects see you as a value add and wanting to pay more for your services. So that's going to be my topic, and I'm excited to talk about it and also answer any questions about CDI programs and resources. So what we can do from here, don't miss when we go live every week. Again, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And remember, we're live every Wednesday at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more help and support, let me put my overlay here on the screen. I hope it's the right one. Okay, for a minute there, I thought I was putting my cat up. So these are ways that you can go to careerdirectors.com/free stuff, or just click the free stuff button in our navigation. Members also, if you are not part of the CDI community yet, you should go to Facebook and join it. And there is a link from the free stuff page. There's links from your member dashboard. But we do daily prompts for accountability, networking, support, referrals. And then, of course, you can ask questions. And I am dropping content in there every day that I don't deliver to members. I do it just on social media. So great place to go. Also, those lessons I talked about that are so value added, even though they're the free versions, we've helped people have great success just with those. And then there is a quiz, really valuable to take the quiz, because there's a lot of resources that we are giving away on our free page. If you take our quiz on figuring out your number one blocker to six-figure success, it's going to not only tell you what your blocker is and educate you on that, but it's going to curate all those resources and help you focus in. And really interesting, I had a member take the quiz and write me and ask, could they take the quiz again because they didn't agree with the findings? And I said, sure. One question can pivotally change your quiz results on quizzes, right? I said, sure. The person was not happy with what they've been told and had reasons why it wasn't true. They came back to me like 2 weeks later and were like, I changed my verdict. I'm so glad I looked at the resources that the quiz recommended. This has been such golden, life-changing information, or something like that. I kept the email. But it's just help yourself know where to start, because otherwise you can just get information blindness and be overwhelmed by so many options. And then finally, if you're not a member, go over to the join page, see why CDI has such incredible ROI. How we include all our member events for free, 4 of them in January and February alone, and then get on that wait list so you can come join us. So let's see, Deb says, thanks, Laura, and Janine says, good info. So, all right, I will post the recording on the website. We should have it up there tomorrow. I will have links to the suggested free resources and member resources that complement what I talked about, so you have that direct pathway to find what you need. And then I will certainly look forward to seeing hopefully all or some of you with me here next week, Wednesday at 3:45. So thank you for joining me today. Let's continue to make 2024 our best year yet. We can do this together. We can do it one-on-one. We can do it through CDI. We can do it on these shows, wherever. Until we meet again, I hope you will fly higher.